Hi guys, it's Mary. Talk to me Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019. And I had a busy week. First thing is, a week ago, I still had my 2019, my project board is an Excel sheet, and I had that, and it was like 12 or 13 projects for the year, and I knew I would be adding some, and it didn't have any of my UFOs on it. Well, I finally got into my UFO closet where I believe at last count I had 42 quilt tops ready to quilt, and some other projects that are not even to that stage. So I didn't want to basically dump my closet into my little tiny living room here and be overwhelmed by that. So I thought I would take out a few. I ended up taking out the first 10 and made myself stop. So I have updated my project board, and I now have 28 projects on it for 2019. And that, as big as that sounds, that's not enough. There are lots more coming. I have added a classification on there for UFOs, new projects, things like that. And it's got a lot more detail in it. And I went from a week ago I had a very thin journal bound thing, bound with these types of things. And it was manageable and all of that, and then it got so big that I ended up putting it in a binder, just a small binder like this, and it's getting too big for the binder, so I'm going to have to, but at least with the binder, I don't like going to those big rings because it'll hold it. You can get something this thick in those rings, and I love those rings. That's the tool system, TUL, but a binder, I don't know why. This one needs to be in a binder, even though I prefer the journal type things. So anyway, my project list is now, this isn't the latest version, but I think this is yesterday's. It is starting on the top of the 5th page now. So as you can see, I finished one quilt in 2018, and that kind of felt good, but I've got 28 of them on my 2019 sheet yet. And I won't go through all of the UFOs today that I've decided to work on first, but I will tell you about the ones as I'm trying to finish them. So I did add 10 UFOs to this. I also added some things that I had already kind of decided to do. I wasn't exactly committed to the Star Trek quilt-along, although I knew I would enjoy it. I didn't really think I had time, and I can't sell it, and so I thought that needed to be backburnered until I saw it, and then now I'm in, and so I haven't ordered fabric, but that had to go on the list because that's going to get started in the next week or two. So then another thing that happened was I had joined 11 weeks ago. I think tomorrow will be week 12. 11 weeks ago, I joined a quilt-along called 50 Blocks in 50 Weeks. And I liked it because I thought it had a lot of potential. I thought a lot of the blocks, they're basic. There's a log cabin, a spool, some very basic traditional blocks, and then some that are just kind of made with half square triangles that are a little less traditional but familiar because they're all the same size and put them in the same fabric, they're all going to match. And I had this idea that if I made 2 of those a week, then in 50 weeks I would have 100 blocks, and I could do something with that. I also decided not to go with the 6-inch. I would blow them up to 12, and with 112-inch blocks, I could make several quilts. So, wall hangings, whatever I wanted. And so I was collecting those blocks, and like I said, last Wednesday was block 11, so tomorrow will be block 12. In the interim, and those are from Birdie Sparrow. Then in the meantime, I saw an announcement that the Canadian national, the equivalent to our national quilting circle, it's Canadian National Quilting Guild Association, whatever it is, was starting a 52-week block challenge. And I thought, well, you know, I'm 10 weeks into a 50-week challenge. I don't need 52 more. And then saw the first block and said, this would really coordinate with what I'm doing. So those go on my list as one item. I am now in a 50-week block challenge where tomorrow is week number 12, and a 52 block in 52-week challenge that tomorrow's block 2. So I now have 12 blocks. Tomorrow I'll have 14. And then I decided that, and I had to name it something. These are working names for my list, and so I couldn't call it 50 blocks in 50 weeks and 52 blocks in 52 weeks. So I called it 102 blocks in blank weeks, and I haven't stopped for a minute to figure out what that is, but because they overlap. But it's going to be something like 62 weeks or 61 weeks. It's going to be 102 blocks in 61 weeks or something like that. Then I decided on my fabric, and I decided that the majority of the blocks that can be made in 2 colors, I'm going to go with black and white-ish. It's an eggshell. And then the ones that require 3 colors, I'm going to go with black, white, and gray, but it's not gray, it's elephant. And the reason I clarify that is it's not a soft gray, a medium gray, a dark gray, a bluish gray, a greenish gray. Elephant is a brownish gray. And so I ordered that. It should be here today or tomorrow. So any of the blocks that go with 3 colors will have black, cream, and elephant in it. And then I wanted a little burst of color randomly, not even half of the blocks should have this color in it. And I went through all the colors. Red, of course, first choice. And I landed on robin's egg blue because I have some, and all these fabrics are Moda Basic colors, and so they're still available. I started with fabric that I bought in about 2011, 2012, and I already had black and some eggshell and some robin's egg, and so I'm adding elephant to that, and I'm ordering more of the robin's egg is a jelly roll, and I needed some ability to make bigger blocks, so those are coming. So I've got my 4 colors. It's going to be a splash of colors, and then I thought, well, if I'm making 102 blocks, and this would be basically making 2 different blocks a week, which is, I can do that. Do I want just 2? And that would only be 204 blocks. And then I thought, well, now that I have 11 of these blocks, I'm realizing that several of the blocks are really conducive to putting 4 blocks together and then, you know, turn them different ways and they end up different patterns kind of thing. And so I thought, well, if I get 6 of that type block, then I've got a quilt. If I have 4 of them. So I thought, okay, that's just 408. And then I said, well, then what about the odd ones? They're going to all be odd and not have any of these type blocks in them. So what I need is 5 of each block, right? Yeah. So my 102 blocks in however many weeks, I'm making 5 of each. So it's 5 times 102. So 510 blocks. I have 5. I started because I had enough of I found one that I could make with jelly rolls, and because the eggshell I have is a Jelly Roll too, so I ordered more fabric for the. So anyway, the only one I can make so far is called Hashtag, and it's cute. It's I have 5 of these, and I'm going to put them in my 102 block stack, which is I think number 27 on my list. So I have 5 of these. Checked off number 11 of 50 weeks, 50 blocks in 50 weeks, getting there. So I'm kind of excited about these, and I'm just going to keep doing them, and I'm not going to stress over if I do 1 or 2 or 3 a week. I'm just going to keep doing them, keep collecting the patterns and doing them. And when I am looking for something to do, that happens, right? Maybe. I'm going to grab some out of my stack and put them together and make something with them. So anyway, that's, I think over time, hopefully within 2019, that's going to give me kind of bonus blocks hanging around waiting to be put into something, and that could assist in meeting my goal of making a lot of quilts this year. So that's one project, and that's something that I worked on this week. The only other thing I really sewed this week was I'm continuing to work on my, I decided my working title for this, 'cause, you know, when you have a list, you need a working title. The working title for this is Floating Diamonds, and this is the one that's just that. And I had to order, I actually wanted to get, I bought these 2 Jelly Rolls from my local quilt shop, and I went back to get some matching fabric to put in the setting blocks and the borders. I'm going to put a 6 setting blocks and a 6-inch border around it, and she didn't have any, so she ordered some. It'll be in late at the end of this week. So this is kind of on hold. I made one more of these today. I have 3 more to make, so I'm going to, when I make 3 more blacks, I'm going to have enough for the throw, and then I'm going to have an extra of the gray one. So then I want to make a matching pillow, kind of a throw for the couch and a pillow set. And so the question is going to be, do I make another black one to make a double-sided pillow, or just make a single-sided pillow? Don't know yet. This is also something that I may, I'm working on making a pattern I can distribute also. So that was progress on that, but I can't make a lot of progress on it because until I get the rest of my fabric, I can't assemble these diamonds anyway. But planning and productivity on the floating diamonds. So then, I don't know if I told you last week I went to a meeting at my quilt shop. It's a monthly support meeting for quilters, and they introduced the shop is a handy quilter distributorship, and so they do a lot of quilting things like that, not just fabric. And they introduced us at the meeting to a new the Ruler of the Month Club this year. And so I think it's something ridiculous. It's like $5 a month. And you order your ruler. Of course, there's a ruler for quilting on any kind of machine, from long arm to domestic. And the ruler of the month, I got block of the week, block of the month. I haven't even told you about the one that's every 2 weeks. That just started today. This is a ruler of the month, and this year they have them all working together. So January's ruler of the month is the cutest little thing. It's shaped kind of like a, if I had it, I'd show it to you. I ordered it. When I have it, I'll show it to you. It looks, picture the outline of a Christmas light. a Christmas tree bulb. And it's that shape. But the cool thing is, when you subscribe to the Ruler of the Month, you get free a base. And it's basically it's a, made like a ruler, but it's not really a ruler. And it's got these lines in it, hashtags in it, that you can lay down on your quilt and either trace with a pencil or chalk or something, or you can pounce it, and it gives you your all the lines you need, and then you take your ruler, one for each month, and this month's is the little bulb shaped thing, and then you can go around with 4 or 8 and you flip it backwards and all this kind of stuff. And so it ends up, I just found it in my book. Here it is. Isn't that cool? And so you end up with unbelievable possibilities on what you can do with it. And what this actually did was give me an idea, and these are printed front and back, so you don't see the back. What this actually helped me with was, as soon as I saw it, I said, Saints quilt. What I'd like to do is put, if I use the rulers, put something like this. Can you see that with the light? Something like this on the medallions between my sashing, and then pull a pattern like this out through the sashing, and then another one at the corner. And I think that would be a real cute design, but who knows? I may, and that one kind of matches this one. Then there are the borders. Anyway, that's just this month's, and the next 11 months we'll have another one that goes on this same system, and they work together, so you can mix and match them and make all kinds of cool designs. So that was pretty exciting. Very, very cheap investment on that. What else did I have? Oh, I am going. Supposed to be last week, but this week, Thursday or Friday, I'm going over to where Avante is, and she and I are going to quilt one of my UFOs. And so she said to bring a small one. And so this is the first of my UFOs that's going to be finished, and it'll be finished this week. This is the backing. And I might have shown you this years ago. It's just a stained glass. I think it's 35 by 45. It hangs like this, I think. One that I paper pieced. Long time ago, I just wanted to. It was one of those things where I saw the stained glass pattern about the time it was coming out, and it was very popular, and I thought, hey, I need to try that. And I had some batiks, and so tried that out one day, and then it ended up in my to be quilted quilt tops. So that's going to be the first one to be quilted, hopefully this week, and then I'll bind it this weekend, and that'll be ready. So that is really excited. I could check a UFO off my list and have a completed quilt for the year. And so I'm hoping to have a lot of satisfaction by this weekend on that one. And then I know which one. That's just going to be an edge to edge because that's what I'm learning. And then we're going to then I know which one I want to do next, but it's a king size, so it's got to wait. So on that same line, I'm spending weekends working with my brother. He and I are remodeling, completely gutting and remodeling one of my mom's houses. It's a rental, and been long overdue on that. And so we've been moving walls and putting in some, adding a room and some exciting stuff like that, and double the size of the kitchen. But anyway, we have now made the living room a priority to get habitable first. And so he is teaching me to sheetrock, so he's been doing a lot of sheetrocking, and there's not a lot I can help him with, but I help when I can. But we have the living room sheetrocked, mostly textured, and it's more complicated than that because we're completely changing out the electrical system, and these old houses have like 2 wall outlets per wall because all you need in a living room is a radio and a table lamp if you're in the 50s, and so that's the kitchen. I live in one of her houses, and it's like that. And if I turn on my microwave and anything else in my kitchen, I got to walk outside and flip the fuse because the electrical system just isn't built for the way I cook or the way I do things because I have all kinds of things to plug in. So we did get wires run, electrical outlets in, sheetrocking in the living room, and 2 of the walls textured, and then I painted the ceiling and those 2 walls. So all that's left in there to do before it's okay to put something in there is to texture and paint 2 more walls. It was also very, very cold and very, very wet this weekend, and so we had problems with plaster not drying for 2 days, and mud or whatever the sheetrock stuff is, and then paint not drying for 6 or 8 hours, and so it was a little bit difficult. So we then have to. Some of the things, like it needs a front door, but we can't just. It's going to be a special order. So, but the front door, you can move something into this room before you can replace the front door. We're trying to get the desk things finished, and so because that room really doesn't have a good wall between it and the dining room, then we have to also do the dining room. So this weekend we're going to be doing more sheetrock, more painting, more electrical, and try to get the dining room up to speed, and then at least I can start putting some furniture in there. So that's pretty exciting. And he works full time, and so and it's trying to find time on good weather days to do this sort of thing. So I'm telling you, I was a little busy this week. Then on top of all of that, I had a little chat with my daughter today, my older one who's in graduate school, and she has a birthday coming up in May. And so I thought, oh man, I haven't quilted for these girls in years. I should do something for her birthday, and I'm going to be in this. If you have 27 things on your to-do list, you need another one you need to do something for your daughter's birthday. So I said to her, if I make a quilt for you for your birthday, do you want foxes or cats? And she, foxes. Okay. A little surprised, but at least I knew what the choices were. I was proud of that. She chose foxes, and then there's this fox quilt that is just, you've all seen it. It's the foxes all. In fact, I'll show you a picture of it right here. Hold on. And so this is one that Robert Kaufman promotes because she uses his fabrics, and it's all over Pinterest. I know you've all seen it. So and then since then it's come out in cats, and then the dogs, and then the dogs in sweaters, and I think there's a penguin one. Anyway, this is the original fox one. And so I'm showing it to her, and she goes, yeah, that's the one I want. Like, first shot right out of the booth. I said, if you want foxes, there's several cute ones out there, but the one that first comes to my mind is this one. I show her a picture. She's like, done. I'm like, okay, that was easy. So when I started saying, do you want them all in solids matching like this? Do you want different colors? Blah, blah, blah. And she granted me, this is high praise, she granted me artistic license. And although I'm not surprised because I've earned that with her over the years, I was very honored because she's a little stingy about that. So I have artistic license, but then I said to her, I can put sunglasses on one of them or put glasses on one of them, just one. And she said, yeah, do that. So I actually have a really great idea. And then she just wants a wall hanging because when she was in... I guess when she graduated from undergrad, when she graduated from high school and was going away to college, I made her a wall hanging with a paper piece pig on it. And it said, in Latin, of course, on the wings, how's it go? On the wings of pigs. I know it in Latin and not English. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I machine embroidered that on there, and it's this flying pig that's paper pieced, and she took it to college and then grad school and now another grad school, and she's still got it on her wall. She said that he's getting a little lonely and he could use a box next to him. So that's when I said, well, you want more than one. So I'm going to make a wall hanging. It's probably going to be 36 inches square, which would include 12 boxes. So I'm going to kick that out, and I'm also going to get back in the habit of making 2 things, and so I'm going to try to make 2 of those. Hers might be a little sillier than the other one, and I'm hoping to, in the next couple of weeks, learn some really cool quilting to put between those blocks. And that's going to start. My pro stitcher is going to start on January 31st. So anyway, exciting stuff. Way too many things to do. These 2 things are still on hold for no reason at all. I was really ready to finish this because people were going Saints crazy, and then Sunday happened, and we're not going to Super Bowl, and that's okay. Some people are happy that we're not, but and I'm okay with that. But so this isn't a priority. Also, what I want to do on the quilting on this, I am not ready to do yet. So there's no rush on this just because I'm not qualified to quilt that the way I want it done. And this one, I think, because it's complicated and is getting more complicated as it goes around, I think I might want to do just an edge-to-edge type thing. So then I also have thought about Hocus Pocus a little this week, but didn't get down to the nitty-gritty and get anything done on it, but it's still coming along fine and it's close to being finished. I've been thinking about how I want to quilt that too. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. I hope you guys have not been as busy as I have, because it's kind of worn me out. And hopefully next week I'll have a quilted UFO bound in everything. And I'll tell you about my next UFO on my ever-growing list. So I am so sorry this is so long. I was trying to talk as fast as I could, but you know I wander. You guys have a fabulous week. Bye.